but it doesn't really matter. I will always feel the same. I'll love you forever and forever. I'll love you with all my heart. I'll love you whenever we're together. Love you when we're apart. And when at last I found you, your song will fill the air. Sing it loud so I can hear you. Make it easy to be near you. For the things you do endear you to me. You know I will. I'll love you forever and forever. Love you with all my heart. I'll love you whenever we're together. Love you when we're apart. And when at last I found you, the song will fill the air. Sing it loud so I can hear you. Make it easy to be near you. For the things you do endear you to me. You know I
Good morning. Can you feel the excitement in the air? There's going to be a puppet show, you know. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Hamilton. We welcome you here in the sanctuary and those who have opted to join us online. For those joining us this morning in person, please ensure that your devices are turned off and you're not going to ring in the middle of the service. My name is Tim Versteeg. My pronouns are he, him, and it is my great pleasure to serve this church as its religious educator. I will be your service leader and ringmaster this morning, it feels like. We thank the many people who are co-creating our service experience this morning. Our music ministers are our music director, Rachel Derry, and our musical guests, Norm Ayers, Rick Byers, and Jonathan Royce. Our story for all ages this morning will feature the CYRE Puppeteers. It's going to be fun. And our tech team is Brian Carey, Eamon Bullock, Chase Tapley, and John Elliott. Our worship associate is Ann Craig Howarth, and our ushers are Marion Sneed and Karen Moore. And as always in our multi-generational services, our CYRE activity cart is to my right over here to borrow items to keep young hands and minds active during the service, and older ones should they wish. A vital part of our lives together and our ministries to each other in the world is the sharing of the news of our community. This morning we have a number of announcements to share. If you want further information of any of these, please go to our website and check your weekly all-church email. First, a message from the Ministerial Search Committee. The final cottage meeting will be a breakfast meeting next Sunday, 9 to 10:15 a.m. in Fellowship Hall. Sign up online or in the clipboard in the seating area of the foyer. From Bruce McPherson on behalf of the Ontario Not-for-Profit Corporations Act, join us today after the service in person or by Zoom for the first of several member consultations prior to voting on the new bylaws at the 2024 AGM. This discussion is focused on the revised bylaws. Materials for the discussion are available through the church website. Fruit and veggies will be provided. You can bring your own protein if you wish. The Affordable Housing Team reminds you about their Zoom event happening this Tuesday, October 24th at 7 p.m. Guest speaker will be Jacob Gorenkoff of the Canadian Housing and Renewal Association. You can register for the free event to receive the Zoom link, and if you have any questions, please contact Bill Johnson or housing@uuhamilton.ca. Next Zoomers and Boomers Coffee Social will be held Wednesday, November 1st at 1:30 p.m. in Fellowship Hall. Joanne Tunnicliffe will be entertaining us with her Sounds of Nature presentation. Please RSVP if you plan on attending that. The music team is pleased to invite singers of all ages and experience to join us on Saturday, November 11th for a unique musical experience, circle singing, with multi-instrumentalist, vocalist, and choral director Francisco Ruiz. Subsidized $15 tickets include the workshops as well as a light supper and mini concert. Good value. For more information, please contact Beverly Horton. And a couple of announcements for children and families. Youth group does meet today for ages 14 to 19. We'll be meeting in the loft at noon. And also this Friday for everyone, including families, there's a UU Family Potluck and Games Night from 6 to 9 p.m. in the foyer. We eat, then we play games. Bring a game, bring some food. Nothing with nuts in it, please. You can be a nut, but you can't bring nuts. Another announcement, Pat Dickinson will launch her new memoir, I Think I Can, Reflections on 8 Decades. It just felt like 8 days, probably. 8 decades of searching for my identity. And this is at the church next Saturday, October 28th, from 1 to 3 p.m. This book traces the joys and challenges of Pat's life from the 1930s to the present day and details how her experiences reflect the advancements of North American women's lives over those 8 decades. Pat will engage in a Q&A after the talk, and there will be copies of a book for sale. The event itself is free. Any proceeds from the book sales will be shared between Blooms for Africa and the First Unitarian Church of Hamilton. And finally, I think that might be all. Yes, that is all. That is all. Yes.
Before you start, can you put blinds down so we can see what you're doing in the future?
I can. I have the technology to do that. How's that?
Yay! You're hired.
Our land acknowledgement. Oh, for lighting the chalice. Lighting the chalice. We got to do that first, of course. So we light our chalice to enter in our period of worship together, and our words will be projected on the back if you'd like to join me with them. May this flame be our light of friendship and love. Our land acknowledgement. A land acknowledgement in a troubled time. The historical forces of colonization and imperialism that shaped our world for the past 500 years still have ripples that fuel injustice around the globe and in our own backyard. All people who live in Canada, Indigenous and non-Indigenous, are treaty people. Just as we are in covenant with each other here in our congregation, we have a covenant with our First Peoples to move forward in a spirit of reconciliation, learning the truths of our collective pasts. As Unitarian Universalists, we are especially called to this work, striving to listen to all voices in our community and to find ways for all people on Turtle Island to live in harmony. By working to respect and protect the inherent worth and dignity of all people in this land, we as settlers inhabit alongside its First Peoples, may we be a model for cooperation and peace in the wider world. A call to worship. Whoever you are, whomever you love, Wherever you are on your journey of faith or search for meaning, today you are one of us and you are welcome in this house of worship. Our mission is to nurture one another, serve the community, and inspire action that heals the world. Our opening words are Be About the Work by Andrea Hawkins Camper. May we see all as it is, and may it all be as we see it. May we be the ones to make it as it should be. For if not us, who? If not now, when? This is answering the cry of justice with the work of peace. This is redeeming the pain of history with the grace of wisdom. This is the work we are called to do, and this is the call we answer now. To be the barrier and the bridge. To be the living embodiment of our principles. To be about the work of building the beloved community. To be a people of intention and a people of conscience. I invite you to join in our first hymn, number 1017, Building a New Way.
Rise as you are willing and able, if you would like. If not, that's okay too. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Hate and greed and jealousy. We are working a new way. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Oh, sorry. Okay. Keep going, you're doing great. Now you're catching up to me. Freedom is our cry. Let's hear you cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, our world would die. Peace and freedom is our cry. Let's build a new way. We are building a new way. Yes, we are. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way.
You have to stand up, Elizabeth, because it's time for the canvas message.
Good morning. My name is Elizabeth Beckett, and I am doing Canvas, as we say. Who's doing Canvas? Elizabeth is. So I'm very happy to let you know that Canvas is going along week by week, day by day. Pledges are coming in. I'm very happy that people are using the portal on the website to make their pledge. And I encourage any of you who haven't made their pledge to do so. When I sent my children to nursery school, their teacher's name was Miss Joan, and when she was displeased, Miss Joan would say to the children, "Is this a happy face? Is this a happy face?" So I want to say to all of you who have not yet pledged, is this a happy face? Go online, make your pledge. Thank you.
Thanks, Elizabeth. And now I would like to call the CYRE Puppet Show players up. I believe Mary and Myas are organizing the masses. And once they're up here, we'll get everybody with puppets on. You guys know which ones you might have to do too. I think Greg doesn't want to. All right. So, before I start, I would like to thank Ali Steinbergs for making all of our sock puppets today. Now, when Ali handed these to me, she did not know what I was going to do with them. So the actual story, you can blame me. And some of these guys, because they helped me write it last week, or we helped work it out last week. But our story is called Edie and the Seven Friends. Now, in this case, Edie is spelt E-D-I. Some of you may know we have an EDI audit going on for the church that we will get the report of soon. Once upon a time, a long time ago, there were 6 friends who decided to work together to make the world a better place. Actually, it wasn't really that long ago. The friends came together about 1961. The 6 friends started working together, doing everything they could think of to make each other happy and their community better. And all the friends were happy and filled with joy with being together. But, it was good, I get to see it. But there were a few of these friends who often used words like brotherhood, and man of goodwill, and even fellowship. And some of the friends felt left out when they used these words. "But my pronouns are she, her," one said. "Hey, so are mine," said another. And for a while, most of the friends kept using the language, and other friends kept saying they didn't like it. And it seemed to take a long time for everyone to agree that when one group felt left out, they needed to listen and change what they said or did. Now, as they were finally agreeing to stop using these words, a new friend showed up, a 7th friend who was a little different. For those who may not be able to tell from where they are or at home on video, the 7th friend was Canine. And she said that it wasn't just people who needed to feel love and be included, it was the animals, nature, and the world itself. "We are all interconnected," she said. This was in 1985. And the friends welcomed the 7th member to the group and stopped trying to use words like men when they really meant people. Then one day, maybe not so long ago, Edie arrived. Edie was a bit different from the other friends again. They looked a bit different. They acted a bit different. Instead of sitting and talking, they were always asking, "What are we doing? Where are we going? Who are we helping today?" And looking through the puppets, it seemed obvious to me that Edie needed to be our dragon. The 7 friends were curious about Edie. In some ways, Edie was very much like the other members of the group, but at the same time, they seemed more focused on action and definitely a little more active. "Is there room for another friend?" one of the original friends asked. The fifth friend asked, we need more meetings before making a decision. The fourth friend added, but we just ordered new t-shirts and our names are on them. We have to change them. The friends talked for a long time. They argued. They struck task forces. They commissioned studies. They sat on committees. And they sent out surveys. And finally, in 2021, the fifth one said, we need to vote. And one by one, okay, so come down, because we're going to vote. One by one, each of the 7 friends stood up to indicate if they voted yes. Hopefully there's 7. When everyone had voted, it was agreed that the group of 7 was now a group of 8. And that is the end of our puppet show. Thank you, puppeteers. Our puppet show, by the way, was brought to you this morning by the letters E, D, and I, and the number 8. And I'd like to call Sue Sturt Green to the podium.
Thank you, Tim, and puppeteers. Today is truly a celebration. This is our 2nd year anniversary of us affirming the 8th principle as our way of life in the First Unitarian Church of Hamilton. The 8th principle states that we will take individual and communal action that accountably dismantled racism and systemic barriers to full inclusion in ourselves and in our institutions. We have done so much work already to be proud of. We still have much to do. The work has just begun. I would like to ask our enthusiastic 8th Principle Committee, led by Board Member Marion Snee, to come forward. If all of the 8th Principle Committee people can come up onto the, join us to the puppet show.
Thank you, Sue. We actually are a group of 9. A few of our members are online. Pat Dickinson and Rita is online as well. So Nancy is a member of our group of 9, and Sarah and Janice and Beverly, I don't think she's here today. Rita, Pat Dickinson, Jamie, and Tim. And we are an enthusiastic group taking a lead on working on the 8th principle and looking at racism and how we can combat it in our church. We are using many resources. We now have the EDI report, and we will be going through that carefully and choosing ways that we can move ahead, looking at what we have already accomplished, which is quite a bit. But we will be setting up focus groups to narrow in on specific areas. So we are looking forward to some of you joining us in our focus groups, and we will let you know when we start to set those up. And I wanted to introduce you to our group and feel welcome to come and talk to any of the members or email us or let us know your thoughts or how you would like to help us. Thank you.
We're going to re-covenant on this special day with the congregation. And I also want to let you know, recognize again our board of directors. So would all the members of the board just stand, please? Not that you don't see us lots, but I think it's important who you know who your board of directors are. We work together as a group, and I want to thank them for all their hard work. And also, our amazing Reverend Jamie Boyce. So if we could, we will stand together and read the covenant and words together of our 8th principle. We have it here. Here we are. So if you can join us, please stand if you're wanting to. Okay. We, the members and friends of the First Unitarian Church of Hamilton, covenant together to individual and in a command action that dismantles racism and systemic barriers, confusion in ourselves. Thank you all so much. And I did hear a rumor that there's cake.
There are so many goodies.
There's so much cake. Thank you.
A puppet show and cake. It doesn't get much better than that on a Sunday morning. Our meditation words are called Mending by Atena O'Danner. If you are feeling worn thin and riddled with holes, I hope you will take comfort in the fact that much can be mended. Mending comes in many forms, and be aware, mending won't make anything new. You will be the same as what makes you you. Yourself patched up, pulled together, and swiftly sewn. If you've got time for darning, it is work, work, work. Tedious as meditation, and sometimes as rewarding. Just do what you have time for. My fabric has a lot of holes. I'm grateful for the stars I can see through them, the sunlight warming my blood. I mend some, I leave some. Mend some, leave some, patching in remnants of steel wire in my own voice. You deserve. It'll be okay. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep sewing. Truth holds together, and I wear the truth I've told. When places in life tear and wear thin, examine the frayed edges and threadbare patches. And if they tear, appreciate the light coming in as you learn how best to mend. We have two joys to share this morning. That's all right, fit right in. From Joanne Tunnicliffe and Sue Prescott, we are so pleased again to be receiving your bagged leaves for wintering and protecting our beautiful gardens as they sleep for the winter. Please leave them in the gazebo. And this is a joy from Doreen Knoll. Sheila Dundooley, who is surprised that I'm reading this, has been honored with the 2023 Award of Merit in Environmental Efforts. In the letter to Sheila, it stated, "Your exceptional contributions to environmental stewardship in Hamilton have not gone unnoticed, and we are thrilled to celebrate your achievements at the upcoming Environmentalists of the Year Awards ceremony. Since 1979, our awards program has recognized individuals and groups who have made a significant contribution to the protection and/or enhancement of the environment in the city of Hamilton." Doreen notes there is a celebration and presentation of this and other awards on Friday, October 27th at 6 p.m. on the McMaster campus. Tickets are $20, and there's still some available. And if you'd like to attend, Doreen is happy to carpool with anyone who is attending, so maybe just speak to Doreen after if you're interested. She's right there. And congratulations, Sheila. And if you have not had a chance to pick up a stone that we created in the first service of the month from our Generosity of Spirit altar, they are on the way out on the door there, and grab a stone to carry with you to the outside world, knowing you have the support and love of this community. The offerings that we accept each Sunday are an opportunity to recommit ourselves to this community and to our relationship with one another. When we give, we say yes to something that we value. With gifts freely given, may we say yes to the values of our faith. If you're joining us online this morning and would like to make a donation to the life of the church, there's a button on the home page of our website which allows you to do so. And this morning, our in-person offering takes two forms: our regular collection for the ministries of our church and our second monthly collection for the Eva Rothwell Emergency Pantry. During the offering music, you may come forward to the table on my right there with the baskets and make a food or goods donation for Eva Rothwell. And if you need help doing this, we have some enthusiastic youth, right Myas, right Max, that'll go and help us out. And of course, Nikolai, ready to get them from you and bring them forward. And I will now collect our offering. Your gifts and support of our ministries to one another and to the community are appreciated. Thank you. On October 17th, 2021, our church held a special vote to adopt the eighth principle as part of our congregational covenant. We, the members of the First Unitarian Church of Hamilton, covenant to affirm and promote individual and communal action that accountably dismantles racism and other oppressions in ourselves and our institutions. A little over a month later, on November 27th, the CUC adopted their version of the eighth principle, which is pretty much the same as ours with slight word change. We, the member congregations of the Canadian Unitarian Council, covenant to affirm and promote individual and communal action that accountably dismantles racism and systemic barriers to full inclusion in ourselves and our institutions. This decision was not arrived at quickly or impulsively. Like the change to gender-inclusive language made by the revisions to the principles in 1985 and the addition of our seventh principle at that time, the need and identification of what the eighth represents was always in front of us, but it was waiting to be articulated and made explicit. And 2 years later, one need only look to the continuing polarization that plagues our political systems and the conflicts that stem from racial injustices and oppressions around the world to recognize how important our eighth principle is for our individual and collective transformation. Last week, I attended the online platform of the 2023 Fall Conference of the Liberal Religious Educators Association, which is known as LREDA. And it's the professional association of religious educators in North America who serve in Unitarian Universalist churches and other ministries in our denomination. I first got a sense of what the eighth principle was at a LREDA conference during COVID, when Reverend Leslie Takahashi and colleagues presented a workshop on the Widening the Circle Commission report on institutional change that came out in 2020. While the report was not directly about the eighth principle, it was about what some of the work of living into that principle would look like in our own congregations. And after the conference, I was energized and convinced that the change was paramount to our future as a congregation and as a denomination. Our minister at the time, Reverend Victoria, listened to my request to invite the congregants to a Widening the Circle program online. And we had roughly 20 people attend that first program, and an additional 10 members of the congregation from the Peterborough Church joined us through the wonder of Zoom. But this was just a start to the conversations to come in our church and working towards that vote in October of 2021, which we now celebrate the second anniversary of. And I'd be remiss not to mention the commitment and work of our own Beverly Horton and the Reverend Julie Stoneberg, who was the minister of Peterborough at the time, in advocating and developing a Canadian version of the eighth for the Canadian Unitarian Council, which started long before I was ever aware of the movement. Beverly's work continues to evolve and deepen following the adoption of our church for the eighth, and thankfully, she's as committed as ever. Now, this year's LREDA Fall Conference, the key speakers addressed issues of anti-racism and trans rights in incredibly engaging and informative sessions that grounded the ministry in our Unitarian Universalist identity as our greatest strength and role in our fractured and increasingly polarized world. Often in our churches, our greatest diversity is found among our young people, and the children and youth have a lot to teach us about how to unlearn some of the things we need to leave behind to transform ourselves and our institutions. Last May, at the CUC Symposium, an annual meeting in Ottawa, a youth version of the eighth was introduced as part of a poster to aid CYRE programs explore the new eighth alongside its 7 friends. The youth version reads this way: "We must work together to include all kinds of people with all kinds of differences so they can be part of our communities and feel safe in the world. If you haven't seen this version or considered it, the poster is up on the bulletin board in Fellowship Hall, and it's also on both sides of our CYRE card up here. So you can have a look again and see how that sits. Now, the last few weeks, we've started up CYRE again in the fall in our youth group. Both great joys to see the kids engaging with our principles. But as part of our process, we've also done our covenants for the year. And I just want to read you a few excerpts from the recent CYRE and youth group covenants. So from the CYRE, here's a few of the things the kids came up with that they agreed to covenant together. Inclusion, making sure everyone has a role in what's happening. Treat other people the way you want to be treated. Make spaces for other voices. And listen to what everyone has to say. From our youth group, listen to everyone. Take space and make space. Be open to different opinions and see conflict as growth. Oops, ouch. Now, about that last one. This is a framework that's often used in UU youth spaces that I think adults really can learn from and probably adopt, quite frankly. Luckily, to explain it, there is a lovely litany of oops and ouch from Incantations for Rest by Atena O'Danner, which I want to read to you now. So this is the litany of oops and ouch. I receive your ouch with openness and curiosity. I receive your oops with acceptance and empathy. I offer my ouch with hope and trust. I offer my oops with humility and courage. I release my ouch with immeasurable faith. I release my oops with purpose. I release your ouch with promise. I release your oops with my eyes and heart open. Ours is a living tradition. Change is part of living. There are plenty more oopses along this path. But as long as we are willing to acknowledge them with an ouch or two and continue to keep our covenants together, we will have learned the lessons our children already know. Please join in our final hymn, number 1026, If Every Woman in the World.
Stand as you are willing and able. If every woman in the world had her mind set on freedom, if every woman in the world dreamed a dream of peace, if every woman of every nation, young and old, each generation, held her hands out in the name of love, there would be no
benediction. May you be changed, by Emily Richards. May you leave this time together changed. May the promises you have made to yourself about who you want to be feel close to the reality of who you are now. May you share that feeling of transformation wherever you go. May it spread into every word, deed, thought, and interaction until we are all changed, transformed, and transforming together, becoming our better selves. And I'd like to ask Sue Sturt-Green to come forward for last message before our postlude.
Thanks so much, Tim. From your board of directors, we appreciate the comments that we received from the community about the board's decision to cancel the 6-minute memoir event that was scheduled for last night. We're grateful for the trust and the confidence in the community in the wake of this difficult choice, and we know there are questions about how the decision was made. The board met at a special meeting on Saturday, the 14th of October. All board members were present, in addition to Ann Bokma, the founder of the 6-Minute Memoirs, and also Catherine Schuler as a lead organizer for this event. At that meeting, we discussed the feedback and the pressure from the community to change the lineup of the event. Changing the scheduled lineup of the event was not an option. We hold great respect for everyone invited to tell their story that night. At the meeting, the board also learned prior to this that our community partner body, Brave, was uncomfortable with the growing controversy and had chosen not to participate. It was clear that the growing controversy around the event was distracting from the purpose of the event to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of the 6-Minute Memoirs, to raise money for a local organization, and to celebrate the many important stories in the community. All ticket holders have been contacted for refunds, and many have chosen to donate their fee to the church and to Body Brave. We're grateful for those gifts. Our auction donors have been notified and will hold their gifts for a future date. We are hopeful that the 6-Minute Memoirs event is in our future. We are grateful for the hard work of all involved. Thank you.
In here, nice to see you all. And some interesting stuff, for sure. This song is about a car. It was written by my good buddy, Charlie Somer, who lives in Ottawa. And he wrote this song a short 40 or 45 years ago. Yeah. So it's vintage. It's a vintage tune.
We weren't Boardman.
What?
We weren't Boardman.
All right. Ready? Well, I went down to the payroll office, see what it is I got. I'm taking care of business, you know I'm doing what I ought. And standing there smiling, well, he hands me a big fat check. What you doing with all that money? I'll go out and raise some heck. Heaven only takes half of what I make. I don't know what I know. Me and my blue satin going home. Hey, baby, since you asked, taking me to task, say I should when I don't. Me and my blue satin going home. I got 6 months down on a bungalow I got 7 down on a stove. I changed my mind a dozen times about that little car I drove. Salesman's kicked in the fender. He's telling me how good she ran. Only buckets in the front seat and some blue paint in a can. Hey, heaven only takes half of what I make. I don't know what I know. Me and my blue satin, we're going home. Hey, baby, since you asked, taking me to task. Say I should when I don't. Me and my blue satin, we're going home. I said, me and my blue satin, we're going home. All right. Thank you.